All right, never a dull moment on the internet, but welcome to, after a slightly later start, known office hours. I think this is our fourth office hours?
Yeah, I think so.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. As ever, there is a Q&A at the bottom of the screen. You can also get us on Twitter. And if you're watching this after the fact, always feel free to send us an email. We're hello@withknown.com. Our Twitter is withknown. And our known stream is at stream.withknown.com.
Do we have a way to see the questions and comments?
We do have a way to see the questions and comments if I turn it on. All right, so there is Q&A. Feel free to ask us any questions. But let's get started, shall we?
Let's do it.
So this morning, I can't start without talking about net neutrality. So this morning, the FCC made two historic decisions, in my opinion. One is something that a lot of people missed, actually, which is that they voted to allow cities to set up their own municipal Wi-Fi. And that's an awesome thing, particularly for smaller communities, maybe more rural communities that want to create connectivity and actually promote their communities. And, you know, it's definitely a step towards, you know, having free information for all, freeing cities up to provide that infrastructure for their citizens is a big deal. The decision you might have heard more about is net neutrality, which is kind of an awesome thing. So net neutrality means no company who is providing internet service can arbitrarily choose to make one service's internet traffic faster than others. And what that means is that, for example, Comcast was slowing down Netflix. Your Netflix cannot legally be slowed down by Comcast anymore, which is a big deal. But for individuals who are running their own websites, it means that your website can't be penalized versus, say, Facebook. So Facebook can't pay to have their traffic be faster than your own website. You are now on a level playing field with all the big players on the internet. And that's huge. That's huge for anybody who wants to participate in the independent web. So, and of course, a lot of the people who are participating in the independent web are using Known. We have been...
And we just had a new release fairly recently.
We did. I mean, we've been running around. We've had lots of activity.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'm slightly out of breath because I've been literally running around. But it's, yeah, it's fantastic that the FCC has seen to, that, you know, people who are running their own independent sites and small businesses like ours can participate on a level playing field. Known 0.7 is something that people can use to run their own website. It's a big deal. So in Known 0.7, it's easier to install than it ever has been before. You can have static pages, you can have webhooks, all kinds of functionality that wasn't in Known previously. So you can use it actually, you know, you could have your about page. You can have a page maybe that lists your professional experience on your personal site.
A contact page, a resume page.
Yeah, a list of resources if you're running a site about a particular topic. All of those things are suddenly very, very easy and very possible. And so we hope that that will make it easier still to run a site on that. Letting my breath catch up a little bit. So it's, and we named the release after Miriam Makeba. And
do you want to explain who she is and say why you picked her?
I'm going to leave it a mystery. No, I am going to explain. So Miriam she is credited as really the first musician to bring kind of African music to the attention of the Western media. And she was both a singer and, you know, she was an entertainer, but she was also a civil rights activist. And she was basically exiled from South Africa for many, many years for speaking for her mind, for having her own unique voice and sticking to it and fighting for everyone to have, you know, an equal voice. And we think that's a great fit. I mean, first of all, we want to draw attention to her because I think she's someone who not a lot of people have heard about, but it's also, you know, it's also something that thematically is very close to our hearts. We think the web is stronger with diverse voices where everybody gets to have their say and communicate on an equal footing. That's what the web should be. So, you know, we want to be a part of that as well. So
It's lunchtime here in San Francisco at the known offices, and Ben decided to run around the city during his lunch break to get his lunch.
I did, and had a bit of an argument with the. This is nothing to know. I had a bit of an argument with the cashier, and I was like, "Don't you understand? I need to be talking. I need to be talking to the known community." That's not quite what I said, but it was. That's why I'm a little out of breath still. But what's in this new release that we released earlier this month? You can install it on your own server easier than ever before. We've changed the way uploads work. We also are working really hard to get Known included in things like Installatron. Now, Installatron is, if you have a shared host, that's where you go into your control panel and you've got just a list of apps that you can install. And just with one click, you can, maybe tell it what you want the name of your site to be, and it just goes and does the rest for you. So all of those kind of shared server app stores are actually run by private companies, and they're, we're working with them to get listed and make it even easier. But still, we've made it as easy as we think it can be on shared servers. We have changed the way our htaccess files work, if you know about htaccess files, to be more compatible with shared servers. We've changed the way the installer works as well, so that on certain shared servers that use maybe a little older infrastructure, it actually plays better with that infrastructure. So it will actually add to the configuration that you need to run that shared service, rather than kind of overwriting it with its own. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about the text editor?
Yeah, so one of the last things that happened in the new release is that we added in a different rich text editor, a different WYSIWYG editor. And we've been getting a lot of feedback on the last one that there were a lot of challenges embedding different types of media and content like that. And so we replaced the rich text editor with a different one that we're going to try out. So far, it seems to be working a lot better. We still need to make some adjustments and improvements to it to get it to fit into the Known framework better, and to make sure that the upload experience for things like images is even better than it is right now, and really clean and intuitive. And it's the Tiny MCE editor, which you might be familiar with if you worked with other open source projects. So it's a fairly widely used and commonly used editor.
And it's stable. That's the big benefit. So if you are posting in, for example, embeds from, let's say, Storify or Twitter, they just work, which is beautiful. That's what we want. And you can paste from Word. You can do whatever you want with it. So that's pretty cool. And we do want to have better media embed options. We do want it to work better on your mobile device. And we'll talk a little bit more about this later. But we are thinking very heavily about sort of the interface overall, and kind of how we can make that better for you, basically. How we can build a better interface, how we can build better themes, and that requires some infrastructure changes, and we'll discuss that later on. Other improvements in the code right now include the ability we have new backend infrastructure to import your content from other places. And the first service we have chosen to make available is Blogger. So a lot of people are being kicked off of Blogger right now. You can take your entire exported XML file from Blogger and import it straight to Known, and we will suck across your uploaded photos as well as your posts. Everything will be hosted on your Known site, whether you're self-hosting or whether you're using with Known.com. So we've set that up. Others, like WordPress, obviously, are coming really soon, and easier migration from Known to Known. So let's say you start off on a hosted Known site, Known service, and you want to move to a self-hosted Known. We want to make that one click, or vice versa. Maybe you started with a self-hosted site and actually you want to use Known Pro because you want us to manage the servers. We want it to work in both directions, and we're definitely working towards that. And the other thing is, you might not notice this, but it's a big deal. The way we handle user sessions in Known has changed. And what that means is, first of all, you should see faster page loading times and less memory use on your server if you're running it yourself. But it also means that if you're using Gnome simultaneously on your phone, your tablet, and your laptop, say, it will play much better with all those three things at once. So you can be logged into all three without having to worry about, relogging in or anything like that. It'll just handle it. Because we know, I know, I use my tablet, I use my phone, I use my laptop, I use my other laptop.
What tablet do you use?
I have an iPad.
Oh.
Did you not know I had an iPad?
I think I vaguely knew you had an iPad.
I have an iPad, and it's an iPad 1, and I paid a lot of money for it. And because of all the updates to iOS, literally the only thing I can do with it now is browse the web.
No, you can still watch movies because I have the original iPad too. I also paid a lot of money for it and got it right at the beginning. But you mostly can't do anything with it except watch Hulu, Netflix, and Amazon. And everything else dies.
Luckily, we care a lot about the web. So if you have just joined us, I see some people have joined us. We have Q&A. Feel free to ask us questions. We also have a back channel running. We've got 2 screens running, so we can see your questions on the IRC channel. We're Gnome Chat on Freenode, or you can send us a message on Twitter. We are, of course, with Gnome. And happy to interrupt this broadcast at any time to really talk about your, what you want to hear about. So definitely make this session your own. That's it. Future improvements. So we talked about future import options. WordPress, definitely in the works.
So we're pretty close with WordPress. We've been doing some testing with it with some older WordPress blogs. It's not 100% ready to work with everyone's blog yet, so we need to do some further improvements and some more testing. There's a lot of variation and variety out there in the WordPress world, I would say, but we are getting closer to having a WordPress import coming soon.
But of course, there's plenty of other platforms as well. There's Tumblr, there's Medium, there's all kinds of places that you might be publishing that maybe you want to import from, and all of those are on our radar. So, we'd love to hear from you if there's something that you'd like to move across to your Gnome site, or just simply host as well as in its original location. Definitely talk to us about that. And of course, we export content. So here's the big deal. We, as far as we know, our hosted service is the only service on the internet that will give you a full database dump of all of your content. So
then what can you do with that? Right.
So let me take you through the whole service. So the export actually produces a zip file that contains all the photos you've uploaded, all the MP3s you've uploaded, as well as formatted HTML with micro formats, JSON, so structured data, and a full SQL database dump. You can do several things with that. The SQL database dump you can plug into any Gnome installation. So you can simply, if you've got phpMyAdmin, for example, on your shared host, you can simply dump it into an existing Gnome database, and it'll take all the content, it'll take all the users, they will just show up. The JSON is there if you want to write, extra tools or data analysis around your data, and HTML is there if you want to take it and showcase it in different ways. And we're still improving it, so we want your feedback. But that's something that we're doing and working on and trying to make better. All right, so we have a question from one of my favorite people on the web. So hello. What is the timeline for Medium is the question, and
for the import.
For the import, and that's a reasonable question. Medium has a read API, so it's something that if we do everything based on kind of what people ask for, then hey, you basically just ask for it. So I would say sometime over the next 2 months. And if people need it faster than that, we can talk about that. But that's something we can do. We're looking at.
I think the WordPress one would probably come first, because it's much closer to being ready to go. It still needs just a little bit more tweaking, and then it would be ready to go. And then probably Node to Node is kind of like the next on our list of import options.
But the secret truth is most of these platforms are pretty similar in terms of how they store things. So for example, we've got Blogger import. WordPress also exports in the same format. Hooray. Node, we could obviously just provide that export format, and maybe we will. But obviously we've got a bit more control there. So the ideal is that we make it sort of a one-click button. Medium doesn't provide. It kind of provides truncated RSS feeds, so we actually do have to use the API. But I think it's worth doing, and without going into too much detail, looking at pulling in content from all of those platforms is something that we are paying very close attention to right now.
That might be a good segue also into updates to Bootstrap, because that's something also that we would want to happen before we have too many of these import options. So
just to tie this off, I'm sorry that we can't give. It would be nice if we could give dates, but it's just to say it's on our radar, and it's on our relatively near-term radar, I think is the way to talk about it. So, and definitely, if you want something specific, definitely talk to us, and we can figure something out. Bootstrap, do you want to talk about Bootstrap?
Well, one of the big things that we've been talking about that we are going to be doing fairly soon, once the package release for February goes out, is migrating from the current version of Bootstrap that we have, which is out of date and not supported anymore, to the latest version of Bootstrap 3 that is supported. And that's something that we've had on our radar and been planning on doing for a while now, and that's going to really that'll open us up to do a lot more things, in the sense that there are some things we haven't wanted to do on the older, out-of-date, unsupported version of Bootstrap. So we don't want to get too heavily involved in a lot of the plugins and design and import side of things until we're actually on that newest, most supported version of Bootstrap. So that's sort of our next step at the beginning of March. And then will be on something that's up to date and supported, and that will be very exciting.
It'll be hugely exciting. I mean, we are very excited, let's put it that way, to play with the interfaces and really, create the most beautiful experience we can. And so, it's a great step towards doing that. And
there's some better responsive and mobile-first capabilities with the latest version of Bootstrap. Because it is the most current version, that means that other people who are building things and building plugins and building themes, they're going to have more resources at their fingertips. So it'll be great for the platform and the ecosystem overall.
So it's worth saying, if you're a developer and you're self-hosting, you don't have to use Bootstrap at all. Just because we use that in our default interfaces, you can build a whole new set of interfaces. You could use Famous, you could use anything you want, actually, to build your interfaces, or you could just use Gnome provides JSON views out of the box as well, and you could use that as the back end for an app or anything else you wanted to do. So these are our default interfaces. It's what 99.99% of people who use Gnome use, but you're not limited to anything we do. You can extend, you can replace functionality if you're self-hosting. You can develop Gnome in all kinds of different ways. Quick question about Bridgie, which I will select, because here's something we didn't mention. On the hosted site right now, and in the very latest open source code, there's now a link to connect with Bridgie. And Bridgie is a third-party service that allows you to bring all of your interactions from your Twitter accounts, your Facebook accounts, actually your Google+, your Instagram accounts as well, back into your Gnome site. And so Scott's question is, we've got this link, but there's not an indicator in Gnome to say it's linked. Do I need to link every time I load my site? The answer is no. You need to connect with Bridgie once. Because it is a third-party service, we don't have a way of saying, hey, you authenticated with Bridgie. So there's a link. So there's a link that point out to Bridgie, and then they have a link that goes back to us once you're finished authenticating. So all you have to do is click on Twitter once for Bridgie, authenticate with Bridgie, and then it will bring you back to your admin panel. Do the same for Facebook. Do it once. Never need to do it again. Bridgie will let you know. Facebook expires. Facebook authentication always expires with every service every 3 months. Bridgie will let you know when that's happened, as we'll know. So that's that's the only thing you might have to do again. But otherwise, yeah, you can just forget about it once you've connected. And to talk about development, I have a note here on our little agenda that we're both looking at saying, we need you, get involved, help us build themes and plugins. It is an open source project. And we have, of course, the GitHub repo, which is, you can just search for us, search for Gnome on GitHub, you'll find us. or go to withknown.com/developers. You'll see all kinds of information there. We have the IRC channel, which is, just to reiterate, Known Chat on Freenode. And we have
a developer mailing list.
A developer mailing list, which, we are there. We're answering email every single day, and we're answering, issues on GitHub as well. And, we really want to welcome developers to the platform, whether you're building a new plugin, whether you want to change the way something in the core platform works, whether you're building a new theme, we are there to answer your questions. We are there to help, make this the best software it can be with the help of the community. It's, it really is community software. So please do feel welcome to come in. If you're not a developer, that's totally awesome. All kinds of people can contribute to Known. If you're a designer, if you're a writer, if you're a translator, we would love
do you want to talk about some of the other areas that other people can contribute?
Yeah, well, so design is a great one. I mean, we would love always, your design feedback. It doesn't have to be front-end development. It can just be, posting a wireframe or posting a Sharpie sketch of how you think something could work better into the mailing list. Whatever you think is, might be helpful, whatever you would like to see, I think you should, you never feel scared about sending that stuff. Nobody is ever going to say, oh, no, that's not the right thing. You shouldn't have sent that. Contributions are always really, really welcome, and it's really cool when people do this. So that's one thing. Design is one thing.
I would say also, in terms of participating and contributing to the community in general, some of the best options, if you're not coming in with a specific plugin or development feature that you're burning to make for yourself, but you are looking to participate and contribute in some way, a really great place to start is to contact Ben and myself. You can get us at hello@withknown.com and just introduce yourself and give a little background on where your skills and interests lie. And we can then point you in the direction of things that are sort of like on our wish list or on our roadmap where your skills and interests and passions might be most applicable. And we can sort of talk through what we've been thinking and what we've been working on, and then introduce yourself to the community members on the developer mailing list, just to get a feel for who's there and what they're already working on. Take a peek through the messages that people have already been posting. Join us on IRC if you have specific questions. And that will give us a chance really to help point you in the direction of something that might be a great project to work on if you don't have something in mind specifically, but you would like to contribute. And we can definitely help you out if you're not a developer with suggestions around things like copywriting, documentation writing, translation, some of the aspects of design, helping us with accessibility, some different areas like that.
Yeah, I mean, and so, and we're happy to, if you want to have a chat about it, we're happy to do that. The translation is something that we're going to be doing a lot more work on over the next couple of months, and we do have a lot of work to do on it. Right now Known is in English. The world isn't in English. The world is in all kinds of different languages, as it should be, and we should be there to meet that. So we are going to have to take every written string in Known and wrap it in a function. And once we do that, we can very easily translate Known and continue to translate Known into all kinds of different languages. So that's going to be a big undertaking. Once we've done it, it'll be fantastic. It'll be a little work together. But and then we hoping for translators to come join us. Up to then, we may ask the community to help us out finding the written English in Known and wrapping it appropriately. So on installing Known, if you're self-hosting Known and you haven't updated in a while, so Thomas Van der Waal has this question as well about, he's on an old version of Known. Is it safe to update? The answer is yes. Always take a backup. Always take a backup when you're doing anything. WordPress tells you to do that as well. All kinds of projects tell you to do that. You should always take a backup. This version of Known does not change the database in any way. So it's just files, and you can literally overwrite it. So just take, Known 0.7 and upload it over the top. Be careful of your upload directory. Don't overwrite your upload directory because you'll lose your files. But aside from that, it can just simply go over the top.
What about your config file?
And your config file shouldn't be an issue because there is no config file in the installer package. So you literally can just drag and drop, and no one will pick it up. So, but take it back up first. So next on the list, I've written, what can you do with it? What can you do with them? And here's why. So,
do you want to show off your stylish?
Oh yeah, I'm wearing a Gnome shirt. I don't know if you can see that on the. We've got, this is the T-shirt that was given to the Gnome Pro pre-sale people who picked the superfan option. So we will be selling more T-shirts soon. But yeah, I think everybody who bought the Gnome Pro superfan should have their T-shirts by now.
Unless you're international, and then I think most of them have made it, but I'm still getting tracking notifications for some.
If they haven't made it, they're probably literally in the air or on a ship. So
or sitting in customs somewhere.
So the point is, we don't have them anymore. You want your T-shirt? We don't have them. I don't know where they are. No, that's not true.
I know where they are.
We know exactly where they are. But anyway, but yeah, the reason why I want to talk about what you can do with Gnome is you probably know it most as a site to run a personal website, a personal social stream. And the truth of the matter is, it's great at that. That's what I do. That's what Aaron does. That's what a lot of people do. But lots of other people are using it for other things as well. Gnome is a multi-user system. You can have as many people as you want on your Gnome site. And that means it works very well as a group platform as well. And particularly if you make it a public site, you can just make it a communal blog, or you can even open registrations and let anybody contribute to the stream. But you can also shut it off and make it private. If you're self-hosting, you can make any site private. If you're on with gnome.com, Gnome Pro allows you to make it private. And that allows you to have, for example, an internal discussion space. It allows you to have a classroom space. And lots of people are doing that. We've got lots of classes in places here in the States, in India, in Europe. People are using it as a group teaching space, which is completely awesome. And we love to see that kind of thing, both for digital storytelling, for computer science, for the history of publishing. There's lots of topics being taught.
Art history, anthropology, cultural classes, things like that.
Which is totally awesome. And because it's customizable, you can do things like integrate it into a learning management system, or you can use it to integrate it into your intranet. And if you don't have developers on the site, we can help you with that. And so, it's very flexible for those things. And a lot of companies and a lot of organizations actually need to own their own data. For me as a person, for example, it's an ideological thing. I want to own my own data. I want to control my own site. For a lot of people, it's actually a legislative requirement, or it's a policy requirement. Let's say you're a private equity firm. You need to control your you need to make sure that the discussion around your investments stays on site. Or let's say you are a class and you can't store your discussion, your class, let's say in Europe, where they can't store their discussion on US servers very easily because of legal requirements. Gnome makes all of those things really, really easy. And we're going to be doing more about that. We're going to be talking more about that. But I think it's really worth saying that those features exist. And we would love to hear more about people who are using them and hear how people maybe want to use them as well. The other thing is whether you're publishing in a group or whether you're publishing for yourself, the other thing that Gnome works very well with is podcasting. So
if I was going to set up a podcast, what would I have to do to get it? So I think I know if I recorded my podcast, I can post the audio in the audio media type,
right,
and then I can syndicate that to SoundCloud if I want to.
You could do that.
Then what do I have to do to get it picked up by the podcast catchers and things like iTunes?
So all you have to do is submit your Gnome site to iTunes, and they will recognize it as.
Do I have to submit a feed or just the site URL?
That's a really good question. I believe you have to submit the feed itself. That's an easy thing to find. They should have a way to detect it. But but even if they don't, finding the feed in known is pretty simple, and we can make that simpler for podcast users. But the feed is compatible with podcasting platforms. So all you really have to do is upload MP3s to your known site, and it is a podcast host. And so if you're self-hosting, it means you suddenly have full control of your podcast, right? You're actually running your own site. If you're using a hosted platform, or you're using known on another platform like Reclaim Hosting, again, it's really super simple. You don't really have to worry about it. We'll handle all of that. So all you have to do is concentrate, admittedly, on the relatively hard task of actually recording recording a great podcast.
Just making the podcast.
Creating your awesome content. Yeah.
So what kind, you said MP3? What
MP3.
kind of audio?
MP3.
MP3. Is that the only kind of audio you can?
It's the only kind. It's the only kind of audio that podcasting apps will really play with. Will dependably play with. One thing that is going to show up on the hosted platform in the future is transcoding. And what transcoding means is you can upload any audio file and we'll turn it into MP3 for you. And there are other kinds of media files that you can transcode, but we won't talk about that yet. But you can upload audio and we'll just turn it into an MP3 and optimize it to be usable. So again, it's really super, super simple for you. We love podcasts. I love podcasts. What's your favorite podcast?
I don't have a favorite podcast, but I've been listening to all of the back episodes for Criminal lately, and all the back episodes for Freakonomics. And I usually like the podcasts that are either really informative or good storytelling, but I am less fond of the podcasts that are just people sitting around talking about stuff like we're doing now.
Well, I was going to say I quite like This Week in Google, and I love them, of course. And I love the PRX podcasts, like some things like 99% Invisible.
99% Invisible is great, and the episode this week is on PDX carpet. So if you are familiar with that trend,
please explain the trend.
So I moved here from Portland, and PDX is the airport in Portland, and it has this really crazy teal carpet from the 80s. And there is an internet meme where you, when you're in the airport, you take a picture of your feet and the carpet, hashtag PDX carpet. It's totally a thing on all the different social networks, except the big controversy and scandal now is not really a scandal, but it's been 20 years. The carpet is old. They're ripping it up and replacing it. So Portland Airport is getting a new carpet with a different design that is not the old teal crazy looking favorite, but they're taking the old carpet and they're cutting it up into squares and they're giving it to people. So if you really like the Portland Airport carpet, you can apply to get your own piece of carpet history.
Like the freaking Berlin Wall. So, okay. That's nice. I'm glad people are excited about the PDX
Well, you
carpet.
can get PDX carpet beer and PDX carpet socks now, too. It's a very famous carpet. In the realm of carpets.
I'm gonna move us on. There are many questions there, but they will remain unanswered. And of course, speaking of questions that remain unanswered, don't let yours remain unanswered. That's a great segue. Getting into this. We've got the Q&A here in the Hangout. We've got the IRC channel, which is known chat on Freenode. You can drive a very loud car outside and wave a flag at us, as someone just did, or you can grab us on Twitter with Known. Feel free to send us any questions. In the meantime, what is next? We have Known Pro. So Known Pro, we pre-sold it, as you know. We thought that was a better way to do it than crowdfunding it, because it meant that we only got people's money when we delivered on our promise, which we did. So lots of people have Known Pro now who are pre-sale customers. They got a special price. They are, and they're in, and we've had really, really great feedback so far. So what that means is we are releasing it to everyone else as well, and soon. So we've got it. We've been working really hard on just making some improvements to it. Just a little bit of this and that, just to get it up and running. We are going to have 2 ways to buy it. We're going to have the annual plan, which will be a little bit cheaper, and we're going to have a monthly plan. Both of them are pretty competitively priced, and what you get is the ability to use your own domain, the ability to have private sites, unlimited bandwidth, unlimited storage, up to 200 users on your known site, and features like static pages, features like webhooks, the ability to post to Facebook pages and LinkedIn companies, and unlimited accounts per syndication service, and a bunch of other stuff that will
custom CSS,
custom JavaScript, yeah, and you know, we're going to be adding to that feature list. So that's going to be next week, and you know, we're really looking forward to that, and that's, you know, that is a large part of our business, and how we're making all of this happen is selling subscriptions to this pro service. So we would love your feedback on that. Definitely, you know, ask us any questions about that. Ask us any questions about things you would like to see. You know, we are here for you, and we're deliberately doing this in a way that we are aligned with the people who are using Known. We're not trying to make money by selling your data, and we're not trying to make money by making every 20th piece of content an ad. We are instead trying to make something that is valuable, and the way we know it's valuable is if, you know, we do sell subscriptions. So we would love to hear from you on that. The other thing we're doing is, if you are using Known as a platform for your business, and you know, you want it to work in a particular way for you, or if you want to build a social app that doesn't necessarily use Known at all, but you want to leverage the experience that we have building Known. You know, I previously worked on a product called Elg. Aaron has worked for Microsoft and eBay and people like that. If you want to leverage us, we do consulting, and we will help you build your app, your site, or even just give you the feedback that you need to progress. So check that out at withknown.com/consulting. You know, we're really happy to work with you. We're very flexible, and you know, for us, it's a great way to learn about what people are doing out on the web as well. So you know, definitely get in touch again if you have any questions or ideas. So, business plug over. Let's talk about community and open source again. So one of the things that we want to do is provide a really great community site for the open source community, for developers, for Known, for people who are writing their own plugins, for people who are writing their own themes. And part of that is improving the way we display documentation, and Aaron in particular has been doing a lot of work on finding a better platform for us to host the documentation. Mm-hmm. And part of that is having things like a plugin marketplace and a theme marketplace, so you can easily share what you've made with other Known users. And so there's a direct route, for example, you know, for people to leave reviews and to understand, you know, which are the recommended themes, because lots of people have tested them. You know, which are the new ones that maybe you should test out if you're adventurous and kind of, you know, kick the tires a bit, that kind of thing. We really want this to be an ecosystem rather than just us, you know, at Known Incorporated kind of saying, here's what we're doing with the platform. We want you to really make it your own too. So we're still kind of feeling this out. Definitely come in and join on the mailing list and join in the conversation that's happening there. But definitely reach out to us as well if there's something you'd like to see. Another thing we'll have is links to other hosting companies that you can use. So you don't have to use, you know, Known Pro. You can use RVeeks, you can use Reclaim Hosting. You know, you can get Known hosted in a number of ways. We're happy to help with that. And we, as part of that, are going to start helping people install Known as well. So so you can have your choice of host, but still get our help to actually get it up and running. So that's something else that's going on. So yeah, I mean, definitely let us know. Get in touch. Talk to us. We want to hear from you as much as possible. Really, that's kind of how we develop. So you know, always feel free to reach out. If you think we're doing something wrong, in particular, definitely reach out. If you think we're doing something right, hooray! But you know, let us know what's working for you as well. And you know, we are doing this in collaboration with you. So please do come say hi.
Anything else? We've
come to the end. Look, this is our agenda. We've gone through every single thing. So, I mean, I guess the only other thing to say is thank you, because it's been awesome, right? This is, you told me last time to stop saying thank you for coming with us on this journey, so I'm not going to say that anymore. But the Erin thinks it's cheesy. I suppose
it's because you kept saying like, "Oh, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey," which is what startups say when they die. As they post the like, "It's been an incredible journey" message to everybody, and then they get acquired or they shut down. So
see, when I think about incredible journey, I think about like a dog and a cat, and they're going on, they're lost, and they've got to get back home. You know,
like Milo and Otis.
Like the Incredible Journey. It's a classic movie. But anyway, it's but yeah, we really appreciate everyone who joined. You know, is a part of our community, and it's really not our community; it's our community. And so the you know, it's really great, and we love it. We love it. This is the best job I've ever had, and you know, just please stay with us. Come participate. Be a part of our group.
So with that, I think if there's no further questions, that's probably it from us, right?
Yeah, I think that is. No further questions, Your Honor? All right. Well, listen, thanks, everybody. Thank you. And we'll talk to you again next month.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.